Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Musings. My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterist Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma. And I've been taking these little spots early of a morning to share with you my journey to the full preterist position. It at times was not a very pleasant journey. At other times, and most of the time, it is just a wonderfully gratifying journey that I have been and continue to be on. In my spot yesterday, I shared with you a response to a suggestion, a question that one of the regular viewers had. That is, how can you say that everything has been fulfilled, because Revelation 21 and 22 describe the new creation after the resurrection, after the coming of the Lord, after the judgment. Describe it as a place in which there be no more death, no more tears. And we see death around us, obviously. Well, in my explanation, I offered the fact that if we wrongly identify and define the death that was to be overcome in this new creation, it certainly does create a problem. In other words, to put it as simply as possible, if John is talking about no physical death, then pretty clearly the new creation does not exist, at least in this realm. Okay. Well, one poster responded to my response and said that my definition of death in the garden is completely wrong. That, in fact, God did threaten Adam and Eve with physical death. That what happened when they ate is they became mortal. And then, of course, they died 900 years later. The poster did say, well, they died spiritually that very day, but then they died physically 900 years later. Well, that is absolutely not what the text says. You know, what's interesting about this objection is that it doesn't seem to notice that it's taking the exact same threat, in the day you eat you will surely die, and it says, okay, you will die within this very day, but then you'll die again 900 years later. So this day is a 24-hour period, and then it's 900 years. Secondly, the argument that says they became mortal that day overlooks the fact that Adam and Eve were created mortal. In Genesis chapter 2, we are told Adam was created, folks. This is really important. Adam was created outside of the garden. Okay? Let me repeat that. Adam and Eve, or Adam, most assuredly, was created outside the garden. Now, in the garden is where life is. In the garden is where fellowship is. But he was made outside the garden, and he was made of dust. Now, what is the inherent nature of that which is made of dust? It's mortality. Adam and Eve's life was totally dependent upon being in the garden. Whatever that entails, okay? But the point of fact is, they were created outside the garden. They were made of, Adam was made of dust. So to say that they became mortal when they ate does not address the inherent nature of Adam being from the dust and being outside the garden. He didn't become mortal the day he died. He was inherently mortal because of the makeup of his biological body, if you wish to use it in those, discuss it in those very terms, which is exactly what the objector is appealing to. So you see, when we look closer, and all of this is part of my journey, by the way, to the full preterist view, I discovered that my concepts about the garden and about what God threatened Adam and Eve with my original concepts, my traditional concepts, were completely skewered. I'll try to address this issue a little bit more in our next morning musings, which will be probably on Monday now. I've got to perform a wedding today and going to be awfully busy over the weekend. But be that as it may, thanks for joining me for this morning's musings. We'll see you on the flip side.